Gena, I love you. We fight constantly, but you're one of my best friends, and my life would be different without you in it.
Aww.
Me, I'm great.
And by different, you mean not great.
Of course.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's
Just
great
checking.
now. Yeah.
I was just making.
Do you like how ambiguous that compliment
yeah,
was?
I know. I was like, what the fuck is that?
You were like, you got really excited.
Like, oh,
and
that's sweet. And then I was like, oh, there he is. There he is.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Menage-A-Pod, the hysterical comedy podcast about sex, dating, relationships, and whatever else we feel like talking about. I'm TJ. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, BFF, and the Dick Clark to my baby New Year, Gena.
I thought you were just going to say dick.
The dick?
That I'm a dick.
To my what?
I don't know.
You're a D to my V, and maybe my P or my A.
Wow.
I don't know. Shooter's got to shoot, right?
I guess. That's what I hear. How are you doing?
I'm really just delightful. So the best part of things right now is I'm looking at the tiniest little 5-pound white little fluffy foster dog.
She's a nugget.
Just snuggled up on your bosom. Looking, and as we speak, Gena was looking at me and I was looking at her, but this little dog was staring dead into her face.
I'm telling you, it's killing me a little bit. I'm afraid she's falling in love, and I don't want her to.
Someone was bound to fall in love with you eventually, G.
Yeah, you're right. This is all I get in 2020. They're like, forget real men. You're going to have this cute little nugget of a dog fall in love with you. And then you're going to have to give her up because you don't need 2 dogs, Gena. I'm going to just put that out there so that I can replay this when in February I might want to keep her, you know?
Sure.
That's the problem with rescuing is that some of these dogs can stay in your house for a while. Then when you do, of course you're going to get attached to them. You're taking care of them.
Yeah.
You're training them.
Well, as people who listen to the podcast who might actually know me, and who knows if this person still listens or not, but someone that I recently dated fostered a dog over the summer, started fostering it like at the beginning of August. I was with her the night she got him. Over the summer, she started an Instagram for him, and it was very clear. Like the night she got him, she was like, TJ, whatever you do not let me give this dog a nickname. By the end of the night, he had like 3 nicknames, and we were like well on our way to both of us being like head over heels in love with his dog.
Yeah.
And now it's Kobe the beef dog. If you want to follow him on Instagram, he's cute as fuck. And now she actually did adopt him after having him since August, just finalized the adoption like a week or 2 ago.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a long time and you get attached. Honestly, if she was the only dog I had, I would consider it. It's a lot of work to have 2 when you're one person, and one she hasn't really figured out the walking on the leash thing yet. It's a lot. You're a work in progress, Miss Molly Moo. Fun fact. So I brought her home, and typically like when you get a dog from a rescue, they've already been
spayed or neutered.
Yeah, well, they've been in, because they don't go straight from like a puppy mill to your house. They go from the puppy mill to a rescue. And then while they're in that rescue, they'll get fixed and shots and all that good stuff. Well, she came directly from the mill to my house, which I didn't know was happening.
I also did not know that.
The first night, I wake up in the morning and there's blood all over my fucking sheets. And I was like, that's weird. It was like up where she was laying, which was like right around my chest area. And I was like, either my boobs are bleeding or yours are. Like I couldn't figure out what was going on. Definitely weren't mine.
Was her boobs? I don't think that's how that works.
No, definitely not her boobs. But I couldn't understand what was bleeding.
Did we just give Gena a class on dog anatomy?
No, but I meant like because of how she was laying. It would have been like right where her stomach was. And so I had said, I was like, what is going on? Like, what could that possibly be? I realized that later on, I saw blood in her urine, and I was like, oh, shit. She's in
So
heat.
It wasn't just bloody dog tits.
Wasn't bloody dog boobies. No. But it was really funny because I was like, I've never had a girl dog before, so I don't know what this is like. And it's just kind of funny to to think about it. And I'm like, oh, honey, are you craving chocolate? Do you need a sweet? Do your boobies hurt? Like, it was like, because if so, you've got 8 of them. That's got to really suck. Like, it was like this whole conversation, one-sided conversation. She just looked at me and licked my face. So now she's wearing a diaper. But here's the other fucked up part about this is that she's so little. She's like 5 pounds, but she's so tiny that this extra small diaper doesn't actually fit her. So the hole for her tail is too big, which wasn't holding anything in because it's coming out the area where her tail was. So then I had to fucking MacGyver this is parenting for you. I had to MacGyver every diaper that I put on her with like a panty liner maxi pad, like cut it into the shape of the hole. It's like a whole fucking thing just to get her to not bleed on my couch. So that's fun.
That sounds wonderful.
That's been my life.
In spite of that, I'm going to put a prediction out here for 2021 as I sit here and look at this. I mean, this dog is staring, now sniffing her nose. They are face to face. Jenna's just ear to ear grin.
She's cute.
This is going to be Jenna's new dog in 2021.
Miles will kill me. Miles wouldn't even, like, right before we started to record, so you guys know, Miles usually sits on the table when we record on a blanket. And so I put the blanket down. He got up and she wanted to go lay next to him and he got up and moved. What a dick move. He's not even like trying to be friendly. All she wanted to do was lie on the blanket. He was like, nope. And he just got up and walked away.
Fucking Miles.
But they have to get along. Like, I wouldn't want Miles to live in a house where he wasn't happy.
Sure.
He was here first. So
he was.
You know, let's see what happens. I mean, the way things are going, I'll have her for 6 months, and maybe by then they'll get along. TBD.
TBD.
So anyway, that's all I've got going on in my life. It's literally consumed me. That and Christmas 2020 was weird.
Yeah, why's that?
DJ got kidney stones and had to go to the emergency room. So we were supposed to do dinner on Christmas, and then we didn't end up getting together. And that sucked. I mean, it was fine. It was what it was. But we did it yesterday. We did it on Sunday instead. And that was fine. It was fun, actually. It was really nice. But just felt weird. Like, this Christmas didn't feel like Christmas to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine, normal, this has been... We've talked before about a new normal and all the differences and the adjustments and the adapting that we've all had to do. And I think a holiday in which we're now a solid 10 months into isolating at some level, even people who are like doing a poor job at it are assuredly still seeing their people less just by the function of less things being open.
Yeah.
And coming to this time where probably more so than any other period in the year that the kind of...
Every time you say period, I think of the dog. I'm sorry. It's where my head's at.
Great. Well, the hallmark of this time of the year is that people spend time with other people. This is like when you see your people. So if you can't do that, it's going to feel weird. It's going to feel different. And even though you got to see your like little pod, your little COVID corridor you have, I still think it's going to be weird. I mean, like me personally, I didn't do much for Christmas either. I just like kind of kept a low profile, cooked, made a fucking quiche, living the dream.
Delicious.
It was so tasty.
I think the thing is because I'm just used to being with family. To me, holidays signify spending time with their family. Sure. And since I wasn't able to do that, I don't know, just didn't feel the same. I mean, DJ and Joe are family to me, but it's different, Like I haven't seen my parents in a year. So I think I'm going to test out these antibodies and go in February.
I saw your mom yesterday. I joined her OnlyFans this month.
You saw her? Yeah. What's she doing on there? I don't even want to know.
You do not want to know.
Is it weird? Does she get weird? It probably gets weird.
Well, I mean, I guess weird is really subjective. So like for me, it's not weird, but me, like.
You're into some shit.
I sure am.
Yeah. I don't want to know. Don't tell me.
Oh, wait. Oh, okay. I won't. Okay. Wait.
Don't tell me.
Wait. All right. So can I tell you a story before so guys, just a heads up. This is our end of the year wrap up. We're going to run through some of the best and worst things of our year. But
will this be the second?
Third.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at us go.
And before we do this, Jenna, can I tell you one quick story?
Of course.
Okay. This is a wild one, and I have not told you it, I don't think, but it's pretty insane. It won't be long, but there are some twists and turns.
Okay, hit me.
Okay, so a woman that I'm friends with through social media. We all are aware that that's a thing I do. Never met her. She followed me on Instagram about a year ago after Over Here in Chicago had shared some meme. It was like definitely January. She liked a couple of my photos. I looked at hers. She's like a tall, gorgeous blonde woman, like a real gorgeous. So I liked a bunch of her stuff. And within a couple weeks, we were like responding to each other's stories, being friendly, flirtatious, whatever. Over 2020, that's happened quite a bit. Never met, made plans like 3 times or twice. There was some flaking that went on, but never met.
On your end?
Actually, on her end.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm shocked.
That's
already the first plot twist.
Yeah.
Go on.
And she's even said, she's like, I think that you just have continued to pursue because like that she is a challenge. So
probably accurate.
Shut your fucking mouth. No, she's great. But she, about a week ago, sends me a screenshot and is like, hey, how do you know this person? And the picture she sends me is like a dude I know for like a long time and I like don't love at all. And she's like a girl lives in the city from somewhere else. This dude is from down by me in the South Burbs, but also lives in the city now. He is sort of a shithead. Like, I don't like hate him, but he's got some issues. He's definitely bad to chicks. Not a big fan of his. And I'm like, yeah, how do you know him? And she's like, ex-boyfriend. And I'm like, oh no. And I was like, right away, I'm like, all right, well, now I have no interest in like ever going on a date with you. So we've solved that. That's crushed that. But long story short, I immediately then go to look at this dude's Facebook. He's blocked me. Oh. She goes to tell, and I saw stuff the day before. She then tells me that for the last 3 years, they dated for 2 months, 3 years ago, every time he unblocks her on Facebook, he sends her friend request, message her and shit. She doesn't respond, doesn't accept it. He blocks her again. So this time when he unblocked her, he saw that we were friends and you can only see their first profile picture when you're not friends. So he looked at her profile picture and there's a comment from me 6 weeks ago that's like real flirtatious.
Shocking.
But her responding similarly in flirtation. And he just saw him block me. What the literal fuck, man?
People are weird.
I know. Like,
You're
come
like,
on.
it's not even your girlfriend, bro.
Dude, you dated her for 2 months, 3 years ago. And then funny, the bow on the top of this, right around that time was when they broke up was the last time that I saw him in person with any sort of consistency. And I was in Chicago volunteering at the Lincoln Park homeless shelter doing like this meals thing with my new team at work. And while I was there checked in, he messaged me on Facebook and was like, hey, what are you doing in this neighborhood? I was like, this charity thing. Why? And he's like, oh, you're like right over like kind of by my place and my ex-girlfriend's place. I thought maybe you were with her. And,
whoa.
And
like,
this
so
was
insecure. Was this before you guys were even friends?
Well, no, me and her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just knew her like for the last year. This was 3 years ago.
What the fuck?
And I didn't know it was her. I'd never seen her. And he'd accused me of like hooking up with like 3 or 4 previous girlfriends of his, which never happened. Never.
Okay.
No. Like never.
Okay.
Like one of the women that he accused me of hooking up with, I was actually dating her best friend. Like he was dating the one girl, I was dating the other. And he would constantly like accuse me of sleep. I'm like, dude, not only am I not sleeping with a dude, I'm kind of friends with girlfriend. I'm definitely not cheating on my girlfriend to do that.
Yeah. That's weird. This guy sounds weird and insecure.
So, and then I had a dream the next night. I told her, I was like, yeah, I had a dream that you and I hung out. And while we were hanging out, he showed up and tried to kill us.
Oh, that's probably something that would happen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels tense right now.
Yeah.
This podcast is really like sort of my, when I end up murdered.
It's your alibi.
No. This is where the trail starts.
Yeah.
When you guys do, Jenna, when you do the True Crime podcast about my brutal double murder that my life is taken in.
We already know who did it.
We do. And you also will have like this audio clip will be like, you'll start the lead in, it'll be like a really like professional voice. It'll be like, he knew what was about to happen. And it'll be me being like, so if anyone kills me, and then setting the stage.
I mean, it might, although I have a feeling the cops would have a lot of people to wade through prior.
About killing me?
Yeah. I mean, like if it has to do with a love triangle. Not people who want to kill you, but like with love triangles, because all the women that you talk to on social media, they're going to have a lot of stuff to comb through. My God. They may not solve your murder for years. Well,
and it'd be hard to comb through it too, because I go through my DMs and I delete it every day. Yeah. I got to empty the inbox.
Why?
Just to keep, because the number gets unwieldy, and the amount of people that I talk to that I'm like actually close with, it's like, oh, I got messages from like 50 near strangers today, and like the 3 people that I speak to that are my friends are like now 7 pages of scrolling down. So I always just like,
oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, see.
All right, I hear you.
I mean, it's a problem that you have when you're just a wannabe bullshit influencer.
Yeah.
Wannabe, 1,400 followers. Look out, world.
Wow, you're moving up there in the world, man.
Oh, and one last thing, you guys won't be able to see it in real time, but you can look at the video in after I'm doing tonight joke, roast, and toast, the thing I talked about last week.
Yeah.
So I'm going against V.A. Bennett, a minute of stand-up, a minute of roasting him. I already got all my material. If you've ever seen him or heard his comedy, you're going to understand how easy it is for me to beat him tonight. That's going to happen.
Wow.
So V.A., shots fired, bro. Shots fired.
I'm not even to hear this in time.
Whatever. I'll send a clip of it to him tonight before the show and send it to him so he knows what he's in for.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, you ready to jump into our
I'm ready.
All right. So how do you want to do this? So we said this year, instead of doing 3 tops, 3 bottoms, we're just going to do 3 period.
Yes.
And we can say, okay, this is a good thing. This is a bad
period.
thing.
It's too much. I'm sorry.
Molly looks like,
Sorry, Malls.
you remember Falcor from the Never Ending Story?
Yes, that's what DJ and Joe were saying.
If Falcor was like a shrinky dink.
I know. That's what they were saying. Because, like, she was laying down. Her ears were just, like, out flat. And they were like, oh, my God, she looks like Falcor. She kind of does. I can see that.
The Never Ending Story.
Oh, my God. Okay, do you want to go first? Because I don't... this is my heart. When we were trying to come up with a list, I was, like, in the shower today. And I was like, I don't even know what this will be. 2020 was just so uneventful for me.
I mean...
you know what I mean?
You got dumped twice, didn't you?
Once. I got dumped once.
Oh, Rob wasn't this year too?
No, that was last year.
Was it?
Yeah, and so fine, we could start with that. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about being dumped by the Jamaican is that I don't want to count it as a negative, even though it should be, because I've decided going into 2021 that I don't think it's healthy to put that much into a relationship, that much self-worth and happiness into whether or not you have a relationship. It's great that you have one. It's great that it's healthy and all that good stuff. But when one doesn't work out, I don't think that you should let it ruin your year. Now, it sucked. It definitely sucked. And just because he was really crappy to me about it. But the reason I put Rob on my list last year was because he was the first person I loved since my divorce. So that was a significant relationship for me, and that's why that one hit really hard. This one was just rude. So I'll put it as, I don't even know if I want to put it as a negative.
Okay.
I don't know what I'd put it as.
So we'll just,
it's something
it's
that
just
happened,
a thing.
and it was an annoying thing that happened.
Okay, we are now saying this is a recap. This is the 2020 recap. Things are neither good nor bad. They just are.
Yeah.
I feel like that's very on brand for the pandemic.
Yeah, honestly. I would put it at like mediocre. It
Okay.
wasn't a pro and it wasn't a con. It just was what it was.
Sure.
That's what life this year feels like. It is what it is. Like, I can't even get mad at stuff this year. It feels like I have no emotion left to give.
Sure. Yeah, for me, I just think similarly, and since you started off with a relationship, I'm gonna do that as well.
Oh, well, yours was significant. Yeah.
I'm gonna do that as well. So like I mentioned in the last episode, never been in love in my adulthood and just till these last 2 serious relationships, and each of them broke up with me twice this year. And although the most recent breakup was difficult for sure, and like I said, she's been a listener of the podcast on and off for kind of a while, even before we dated. And so if she hears this, I will say, I think that like, in spite of how hurt I am and how long it took me to like feel kind of okay with how it ended or that it had ended, because it wasn't like she had done anything particularly wrong or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think that of all the relationships that I've had in my life, it's like the one that helped me grow the most as a human being.
Oh, that's good.
And I don't think that clearly it's still a work in progress. And I feel like no matter what I'm going through, I put some care into caring and putting forth that I'm trying to care and trying to be better. But I think just going back to therapy, even like going on Drew's podcast and doing that and talking about those things in sort of a public forum and at that point, her and I had just broken up and we briefly got back together for a little while. And I think about like what that whole experience meant to me and how much I learned about myself. And like, we dated for 5 months. It's not even in the top 20 longest relationships I've ever had, but I definitely loved her more than I've ever loved anyone. And I think like the impact of like being around her and just like how she loved, how she cared, how she lived her life, her like emotional stability and vulnerability. Those are things that I think like, as a dude who's like a career fuckboy, I feel like they're making me see things through a bit of a paradigm shift. And over the last handful of weeks, I've interacted with some people from my past totally with an eye towards like paying, like being very remorseful for like bad energy or shit that I did wrong. And I don't think I did anything wrong with the woman that I just broke up with. It just, I wasn't right for her. I didn't like meet the mark that she was looking for, and that's totally fine. But I know I have done some people wrong. So I just like was being very forthcoming about that. And I think without that relationship, I maybe would not have had that reality check to go forward in that manner. So I was glad I did. So a couple months worth of heartbreak, but at least to the people out there who've heard from me and are seeing sort of a kinder, gentler, not as super douchey TJ, that's at least partially because of her.
And therapy.
Yeah, that too. But I mean, I don't. I probably wouldn't have been going to therapy if it wasn't for her initial push to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, even like, so the not biting my nails, the like dietary changes, my changes in my fitness, these were all things that like are good for me, and I should have been like prioritizing before. And like, it was just through like, and she didn't push me to do it. I just saw that she herself did it in her life. And I was like, oh, this woman is like successful and hot and put together. And like, I'm like, I got to get on this level.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that I would have gotten the job offer I just got. I don't think that I'd like be at the weight I'm at. I don't think that I'd be like going to therapy. So if you're listening and you do hear this, 2020, it was the year of you. So thanks for that.
Aw, that sounds like a love declaration to me.
Yeah. I mean, I'll always love her for sure.
Oh, that's really sweet. I can't say the same about my people.
And you guys technically dated, I think, a little bit longer than us.
We dated for a minute. That is for sure. Gosh. Now I have to give you a good one, don't I?
It doesn't have to be good.
Well, here's the thing. Actually, this year has, I think, probably taught me how strong I can be, right? So like, I always like to talk about mental health, obviously, in therapy. I haven't gone to therapy in quite some time. Like this year, I actually haven't been at all. Because I felt like I was in a good spot, and really all I need are just like touch-ups here and there. So it's not a regular occurrence anymore. But I think like this year was a really good test for a lot of people, regarding mental health and making sure like, you know, you're okay being alone. We talked about this a little bit, but it's like, you know, everyone had their struggles, whether you were parents who were stuck at home with your kids and e-learning and your husbands or spouses, whatever, and partners. And that can be hard, just as hard as it can be with a different set of challenges. Being single, going through a pandemic, it gets lonely. It can be depressing. People who have addictions probably had a really hard time getting through being stuck in their house.
I just want to point your attention to the sunset real quick.
I know, it's always so pretty.
Fuck. Sorry to interrupt, Jenna.
Okay.
Guys, you wish you lived in the ivory tower. That's all I'm going to say.
But yeah, so I think, you know, everyone had their own struggles and got through it this year the best they could. And I feel pretty good. I got very anxious towards the end of everything. I mean, end of the year, not that it's over, but I was starting to feel super, super, super anxious and wanting to travel, needing to check out. Work had been so stressful, but I don't know. I think like we're all stronger for this year. I think this was a big year for everyone, including myself, to figure out what you're made of.
Sure.
Right? Like you can't let it topple you over. It's life. You got to roll with the punches. And I got to tell you, to all those people that got a dog early on, like a pandemic dog, smartest thing ever. Because what this little Miss Molly has done is I've literally thought about nothing else except for taking care of her, making sure she's not so bleeding on my shit. So, like, honestly, I brought her to Thanksgiving in a sling. Like, you know those baby slings that they have?
Like a little pupperito.
Yeah, pretty much. And she was just strapped to my chest the whole time because if I was just
like
afraid.
A needy man suckling at your teat.
Yes, but cuter.
It depends
and
on the man,
not as
I
creepy.
guess. Yeah.
I mean, maybe. But she's so cute. And it's really sort of, you know, I was on autopilot for a little bit. So it's nice to kind of, you know, take my mind off of things. But well,
that's, I think, a good segue because mine is also kind of similar.
Mental health?
Yeah, mental health and just like talking about 2020 through the perspective of not like what it was not, but through the perspective of what it was.
Yeah.
As I said, like 2 pretty transformational heartbreaks. I spent the entire calendar year technically unemployed. My last day in office at my last job was December 17th, 2019. My first day at my new job will be a week from today, January 4th, 2021. So that is like literally almost 13 months of no job for someone who is like high energy and driven and motivated. And I was losing my fucking mind all year. So what did I do? I networked like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
I made a ton of like friends. I volunteered to help people produce and create different content. And like
photography.
That's coming. So I've mentioned it before, but I've been like helping with this web series with Paul Farvar and Tristan Triptow called Sweet Opinions. And that's been a lot of fun. And, you know, doing the things like the joke, roast, and toast. And, you know, because of our podcast and the fact that it's like been a small success, and I've gotten to start doing stand up, and my photography is like an actual, like I have a business. I have recurring clients. I made money this year doing something. So in 2020, I always wanted to perform stand up. I did that a couple of times. I contributed to the comedy community at large in a lot of different ways. Whether that was like free or low cost headshots, whether that was like helping to record stuff, whether that was helping write with people, just doing those things that were things I like never thought I would do, that if it wasn't for the fact that we had a pandemic and I was unemployed, I couldn't have done them. Then in November, I had like 20 different photography bookings because I was just like, hey, I got nothing but time. It's been a year of not working. I like want to really refine this and push as hard as I can. And this pandemic and the fact that I was single and heartbroken and not really wanting to be like the beginning of November where the heartbroken was like intense. And I'm just like, I don't want to like talk to anyone. I don't want to be flirting with people. I don't want to like any engaging I do with anyone is going to be under false pretenses because I'm still like obsessed with this girl. So I 5 days a week, I would just walk around the city with my camera and take pictures or make plans to shoot somebody or whatever. And none of that shit would have been possible had I not been dumped a bunch and not had a job and had a pandemic. So
yeah, honestly, this is like the year of TJ.
Well, and the fact that I got a job right as I like where it became critical that I needed a job. And it's a great job. The opportunity is incredible. And I think 2020 is the stepping stone where it's like there were ostensibly an equal amount of step backs as step forwards, and like the loves that I experienced were great. There were some really high highs, but there were some fairly low lows. But it set the stage. I've got a job that's better than any job I've ever had. I'm contributing creatively to a bunch of things that I enjoy, including this podcast, which we continue to do. And in spite of our tremendous inconsistency releasing episodes, our listenership grows month after month after month after month. Every week's the best week, every month the best month. And that's happening because it's not horrible. We don't suck. Yeah, it could be better, but it could be worse. So you're welcome, fuckers.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you have had a really good year this year.
I mean,
good for you.
The one downside, can I say a flip side though to all the gratefulness that I have?
Yeah.
I'm a huge music snob. A lot of people know that about me. Like huge music snob. If you want playlists or whatever, and this is not me flirting, just DM. I'll give you some music suggestions. This is what I do. It's not. It's not. But at Chicago Cafe Racer.
There it is, guys. There it is. Every fucking episode.
And so this is the first time, because I have kind of like obscure, pretentious NPR tote bag style music taste. It's hard for me to find women who have so like, I don't like pop. I don't like country. Like I'm a kind of a snob. And this woman I dated this year, our musical tastes were like identical. She's the first person I ever dated that had like similar musical tastes. Like we were aligned on like everything. And what's the one thing that someone who loves music would really want to do with someone that they really care about that could not happen at all this year?
Yeah.
No live music with the only person that I've ever vibed with on music in my life. So fuck the pandemic there.
Yeah. I mean, there are worse things. But
I
yeah,
mean,
I hear
could you imagine like a day full of just like drinking and eating edibles at a concert, getting all just amped on sexy music and then going home and fucking it out? Ugh. That could have been great.
What concerts are you going to?
Almost everything that we like together is shit you could definitely have sex to, for sure.
Okay.
I'm going to give you my playlist.
Sounds fantastic. Yeah, I need a new make-out playlist.
It's good for but it's good for vibing too. Like you're just home and you're like being productive. It's like you'll find yourself like dancing to it around the house.
Well, like I've had so here's the thing. I've been making some playlists lately because as we learned in last week's episode, the worst date idea is to have people to your house, yet I've done it. And then when they're here, like I like to have like music in the back. Like this house can be pretty chill. Like if I light some candles, the lights in the living room are
it's
dim.
it's a fuck palace for sure.
It's like a super chill vibe.
We swank.
Yeah, and so like you gotta like play some good music. So yeah, send it my way because I'm not going to slide into your DMs for it. I think maybe you should just send it to me.
I'll send you a couple. I have some great playlists.
Great. Although now if I do make out to them, I'm going to be like, oh, fuck, is TJ man out to this? And then it might be creepy.
No. Well, and also there's a playlist that I follow that is someone else created it and it's so good.
Okay. Send me that.
I will send you that as well.
I think, okay, so I have one more. And I think the other high is that I made it through this year without making fucking sourdough bread. That feels like a win. Yeah. Everybody else with their mother did. I don't even like sourdough bread, if I'm going to be honest with you.
I don't like most human beings, so yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Also, DJ and Joe, I think I told you this. DJ and Joe for Christmas got me a spice.
Yes,
rack.
you did.
And I was like, what am I going to do with this?
You're the only place that gets spicy in this apartment's in the fucking bedroom, boys.
What do you think I'm doing with this? And that was the thing is because after they were done living with me, DJ was like, we can't take everything. Her cupboards are bare. And I was like, well, I don't really need anything besides like salt and pepper. And he's like, give me a break. This is
that spoken like a real white lady.
Yeah, well, as someone who like doesn't cook, right? So he was like, this is ridiculous. And he's like, I'm going to get you a spice rack. So this has been 3 years in the making, and I just finally got one for Christmas. And I was like, what am I going to do with this? This is really more for you when you come over than for me. It's like, no. Because now every time they come over and cook, they lug all of their shit with them. Like, I don't even have the right pots and pans. This is why I didn't make bread, because I clearly don't have anything.
I didn't make bread because I got other shit to do.
Well, listen, you heard my HelloFresh story, right?
I don't think I did. No.
Okay, so I started it. I only lasted a week on it because it says it comes with all the ingredients, but that is a lie. It doesn't, like, it wanted me to use like some sort of oil. I didn't have that. Like, if you're going to tell me that you're going to deliver the shit to my door, deliver all of the shit to my door. Don't say we're going to give you 95% of it, but there's going to be 5% that you need to have on your own. And then if you don't, the recipe will be ruined, which is what happened.
That's annoying for sure.
It's annoying, right?
Yeah, I'd be pissed.
I was like, fuck you. But if you want to advertise with us, I'm totally down. But like outside of that, I was like, this may not be my jam.
I feel like that's to add on to that, but not be my point. I'm like the next 3 months, I have this like renewed vigor for life in general. And I want to direct some of that into the podcast. And we got to get some advertisers again. I got to do that.
Yeah, we do.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
So
what's your third?
Okay. So I think this is just hokey, but legit. I feel this is like really where my head's at. Just optimism for 2021. Like I told a couple people when I took this job offer that like in my life, I've experienced most of my success like through a fair amount of just like natural ability. It's not to say I don't like work hard, but there's certainly like I don't feel like I've necessarily like even scratched the surface in terms of my potential.
Yeah.
Whether that's in my career or in my personal relationships. Sorry to the ladies I've wronged. Whether that's in pursuing comedy, whether that's in this podcast, I do just enough to be better than some people or even better than average. And then I stop short. Once I'm like better than average, I'm like, okay, time to be better than average or something else. 2021 is going to be the year of like fucking killing it. I want to start my job and just crush it. I want to push this podcast to the next level. When the world opens up and I can do stand up again, I want to be hysterical. I want people to die laughing. I want to use the lessons that I learned when I got my heart torn out twice in the last 6 months to have healthy and productive relationships with people who value me and care about me and people who don't like minimize me or make me feel like I don't deserve shit.
Yeah.
I want to just like 2021 is the year for optimism. It is the year for like growth and I'm here for it.
I like that. Next year's going to be a big birthday for me.
Yeah, 35 is huge.
Huge birthday. Yeah. And
that's also the year, they say 35 is the year to start doing anal, right?
Oops. Just kidding. it just kind of feels like you're right. Like next year should be a pretty good year. I think I should probably follow the same advice that you just gave because, there's a lot I want to do before then.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that I'm celebrating it. Like every birthday has really fallen flat. Quite honestly. Well, not all of them. The one right after my marriage ended, we went to Michigan for the weekend and that was super fun. And that was right before we started this podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. So not that birthday. It was like my marriage ended right around my birthday. So not that birthday, but the following one. And that was the one. Yeah,
I
we
remember.
just started it. So, I feel like outside of that, they've all just kind of been like, blah. So,
this year,
do this one up.
If we get to your birthday and our years are trending appropriately, and both of us are like, if the world's open and neither one of us are in relationships, we should go on a vacation together.
Yeah.
The last time I went on a vacation was when I went to the Dominican Republic with the emotional terrorist in 2018.
Oh.
So I need to get out of town.
Okay. Well, if we do a trip,
we can podcast over there.
We've been talking about doing a trip, and then we can't talk.
Jenna, we could do literally do like just Instagram videos the whole time, just clown around, get all trashed.
Oh my God, that's so up your alley. Please don't make me do a cruise though. I hate cruises.
No, I hate cruises.
Yeah, I don't like to be stuck on a ship.
But we definitely, let's go to an all-inclusive somewhere and just relax.
Somewhere warm.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I'm in. Let's do it.
Awesome. Menage-A-Pod takes over the Caribbean or South America or Central America, wherever there's like a beach, some sun and some tequila.
And some hot people.
Sure. I mean, if we're there,
we're going to have to have separate rooms because you're going to take home all the ladies.
I would never do such a thing.
Okay. I'm going to be like, again. I'm going to be locked out of the room again.
No,
Definitely
my standards are low. It'll all be women who are willing to have sex with me in the bathtub. So you're good.
Ew.
Kidding.
Gross. Or their room. Just go to their room.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Fair.
As long as their husbands don't mind that I'm there.
Wow. Okay. On that note, that's all I got.
All right, guys, that's it for our 2020 best of wrap up what's going on in 2021 episode. As always, thank you so much for checking in with us. If you want to find out more about Menage-A-Pod, head over to our Instagram at Menage-A-Podcast, where you will find our link tree that includes links to our Facebook group, website, merch store, and more. A quick thank you to everyone who makes this show happen as we end the year. That means all of our wonderful guests, everyone who's ever come on, any of you that have listened to even a single episode. If you're sharing, if you're talking about it, you're all the best. Jenna, I love you. We fight constantly, but you're one of my best friends, and my life would be different without you in it.
Aww.
Me, I'm great.
And by different, you mean not great.
Of course.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's just great
checking.
Now. Yeah.
I was just making.
Do you like how ambiguous that compliment was?
I know. I was like, what the fuck is that?
You were like, you got really excited.
Like,
and you were like,
and then I was like, there he is. There he is.
Me, because I'm awesome. And you guys for downloading and listening to the show. Until next time, share us in your IG stories and find any ways you can to tell a friend about Menage-A-Pod. And of course, good luck out there.
Bye.
Bye.